Good morning. This is the Midwest NutriDyn family, and today we're joined by a very special guest, one of the original members of the family, one of the main reasons that we got together and are doing this in the first place. You might recognize my voice from the lobby. Hopefully, someone is laughing right after it, probably at me. But I wanted to take this opportunity because we're not able to get in front of you guys all the time. And we know that on your way to work, you guys are busy people. So we're trying to give you that value that we bring when we come into your office and do that in a way that you can just enjoy as you go to work. So these will be about 30 minutes long. The intention is for you to get a little bit of specific information from us, the update on where we're going, and hear the cool things that are going on around the state and around the country in the NutriDyn family. I am Jake Wagner. I get to serve the great state of Wisconsin, where I was born and bred, and in the middle. And I'm joined by Ashley and Todd. Ashley Hendrickson, you would know from Illinois, and Todd is our Michigan guy. And so today we're really lucky to have Josh Kauder, our I don't know if you'd call him our boss, but he's like the grandmaster of the whole team. And he's the guy who it gives us the great stories that you're hearing in practice every day and the great products that are helping you heal your own family, your own selves, and the people that you serve. So we're going to kick it off from there. I'm going to let these guys tell their story first, but basically we all came to NutriDyn together along with many others. We've been in the industry a long time and we found ourselves a home here. And so I'm really excited to share that, but I'm going to let ladies go first and let Ashley kind of start telling the story of how she found her way into the NutriDyn family.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me. It's good to see all of your faces. I'm excited to be sharing all this information with our practitioners collectively because I think that's how we all learn and grow and thrive. My background, I started out in the functional medicine space as a health coach and FDN practitioner, found myself in a consulting role at Designs for Health, which is where I originally met Jake and Todd, and we've been working together now almost a decade. Were some personal changes for me and within the organizational structure where I didn't feel so much of a cultural fit. Probably about 4.5 or 5 years ago, I decided to pursue my independent coaching practice again. Along the way, was introduced to Josh through mutual connection and learned about the deep history of and the family and was really moved, actually. I remember getting goosebumps that first call when you shared the history of I'm excited to get that out to these folks too, who
Same.
haven't heard us tell it yet. But in that initial conversation, I just had this kind of recognition and knowing that this is where I wanted to be and was excited to be even being considered to be a part of this team. So I joined almost, geez, 3 years ago now, I guess. Time flies. Um, and then had been maybe pestering these two to come over and join the party because it's great. It's great to be here, working for a family with really high integrity and dedication to high quality products and education, and really supporting our practitioners who are the bread and butter of what we do and essential to healing the world, in my opinion. So I'm
Mm,
here for all those reasons and more.
that's beautiful. Yeah. And I'm the last one that came. So I'm going to go next to Todd because Ashley could have convinced me on her own. And then once I talked to Josh, it was all over. But I mean, if Todd isn't there, we're not having fun. So Todd, you too, how'd you get here, man?
Yeah, fun story. Well, just I've been ex-college athlete, nutrition, functional medicine's always been a big part of my life. Not just staying overall health, but just performance. And so fast forward a little bit. I was in the functional medicine space for about maybe 8 9 years, and just with a competitor, obviously, and just you just hear the things from this to that, and I kind of looked into the company itself and just saw that they're doing a lot of cool things, not just the product line. But then I had that initial contact with Josh and a couple others, and it felt unreal, it felt surreal. And then what really drew me in and was, I think you guys will agree, is just the culture itself. It's just so family oriented, so spot on. It's just I tell everybody that will listen, the culture is just absolutely amazing. And I knew that was a done deal at that point. So I'm been here for just under 2 years, coming up about a year and a half actually. So excellent product line on top of that. But another just feather in our cap is that so many different companies in the space talk about, practitioner first, practitioner exclusive. But I mean, a lot of them talk the talk, they don't walk the walk. And NutriDyn absolutely
Yes,
walks the
sir.
walk and practitioners first, which I absolutely love. So
That's beautiful. Yeah, that is exactly right. And I mean, I don't, people put your actions dictate, your words don't convince me. And so I know
mhm.
these two from their character for years of watching them help people get healthy and help businesses grow. And so when I was facing the same thing, I stuck it out a little bit longer on the dark side as the industry has gone more and more into a conglomerate space. I never competed against because they were just you couldn't, and I mean that sincerely. And so I'm a purpose driven person, and loyalty is huge to me. And so it was really hard after many years of doing that. But the reason I got into this space was many of you heard me tell my story, but I was trained as a pastor, and then I did some sales, and then I sold Jesus as a fundraiser, all things that I got to do because I believed in them and saw those things grow. And then we found out my oldest son, my baby, he was on the autism spectrum, and the modern medicine wasn't giving me the answers and the help that I needed. And so I transitioned away from a job that I loved that was very fun and spoke to my heart and my faith to come do a different mission and a different gospel. And that's to a sick nation, and that's what we're doing here. And so I did that at a company that got me healthy when I was young, and it was family run, and it was the place. They were growing and changing, and then they made the decision to bring in Amazon, and we all kind of said okay because we're going to go this way, and basically and we found ourselves questioning what are we doing anymore, and having those kinds of conversations. And so when these guys came here, I was kind of sad because I'm like over there like, man, this isn't fun anymore, and so they said, well, you should talk to Josh. And I did. And I mean, it was like too good to be true, really. It really was too good to be true. And so I kept going back to Ashley and Todd, like, is NutriDyn for real? And to discover that you guys, Josh, you started the space. You guys started the clinical space. And over that entire period of time, as you watch people dumpster fire and do all the crazy stuff that they're going to do and sell out, you guys kept it in the family. You continue to double down on your clinician. You continue to stay behind the doctor and resource them in a very lean way that keeps your prices down. And so I don't want to steal your thunder, but thank you so much for making the time. You're out there making the big moves for us, which we appreciate so much. But we get to talk to Josh directly here, and I want to hear. So now I'm going to turn it over to you, man. I want to hear your heart. Basically, how did you get involved with the business and the family, and then where are we going, man?
Yeah. So I
Kick us
appreciate
off.
thank you for those very kind words, and thrilled to have you guys part of the family, the family. I'm third generation, so myself and my cousin run most of the day-to-day operations today. Best of friends too. We travel together, we vacation together, we work together, we talk nonstop. It's just a passion project. It's just something that means so much to us. And we're third generation, so we were able to learn from those that came before us and some of those principles and aspects of the business that are so important to us today that we've identified in the past that were identified, and we continue to try to build on them. And the fact of the matter is, with the three of you guys in particular, how amazing you are. But attributes when we look at hiring somebody, it's right, it has to be the right person, a person that has their heart in the right place with a desire to really help people. So as I say, you have to be a nutrition nerd. You have to just love it. It has to be who you are, right? As Jake had mentioned with his son, it's just who we are, right? We nerd out on the science. We get into the white papers. We just love it and love reading about it. And so that's what really moves us. And so for myself, same thing, third generation of doing this a long time. Has been around for 1973 is when we began. And so for some, like Jake in Wisconsin, we have a high density of new practitioners and exposure within Wisconsin because that's kind of one of the original states. However, you get Todd in Michigan, although there's quite a bit at the time, but we're kind of a new brand, even though we've been around for 50 years, 50 plus years. And so it's a unique opportunity to continue to grow and satisfy the needs of our practitioners and their patients in an area that know us very, very well, in particular those original kind of 6 states. But now to be able to see that happen in other states around the country and internationally is super exciting.
I love that. So now we're at present. I mean, the we don't need to get into numbers. The growth has been amazing, and thank you guys for that. I can't believe how our doctors respond. They're they're not just trusting, they like trust but verify. And so they're like, okay, you you're with NutriDyn, you definitely know what you're talking about, but then they need to see that research and they need to see that it actually works. And so one of the things you guys know, if we come in there, what we're going to be doing is adding education, adding protocols, adding value. And so the only way we can do that is if we're able to get your feedback and hear back from you, which is critically important to us. And so something we'll be doing is maybe adding one of you guys as the speaker or other aspects of our business so that we can continue to add value to you because we know your time is valuable. So that's why we're talking fast. But Josh, back to you, man. I just wanted to know. So we got some new stuff coming up this year. We got new products coming out and we've got multiple reformulations. We've got more continuity of brand. What has got you really excited this January going forward? Like if there's anything that you want to talk about, but what are you looking forward to, man?
Yeah, and there's a lot to look forward to. I'll just kind of go back from kind of your previous question. I think about what really moved our family, right? Moved this family business over the many years, and for this to be presented to practitioners is that how do we stand out, right? Other than having fantastic people like the three of you, is that it's the products behind it, the blood, sweat, and tears that go into sweating every detail of every ingredient and every ingredient tested and third-party assays and from customer service to shipping to everything, that we're there to support, our practitioners. And with that comes our science team, it's absolutely impressive. The research that goes into each and every nutrient, it isn't just following a fad. If the science isn't there, it's not going to be on the label of ours. So there has to be legitimate, real science behind it for us to be able to chase it. Not saying anything new to the audience and to you three, but you don't have to go very far on social media to be able to see something that somebody's trying to promote or sell, and it's fly by night, right? It just goes away. There's no science behind it. The claims are unsubstantiated, and so you can see just how empty it is. The fact of the matter is, you don't stick around for 50 plus years in this industry, which is a unique industry with a bad reputation. And so it's a reputation does mean so much. And so we're working so hard to kind of build upon that. And with that in mind, we look at some of the new formulas that we have coming out over just the next 6 weeks, really 8 weeks. Just unique, absolutely powerful formulas that have been discussed behind the scenes of science for years. Right? This body of work of research continues to get built and built and built. And when we feel that there's enough of the science, enough of the need, and enough of the kind of synergistic impact of other nutrients, do we bring something kind of to market? And the example of the three products that we'll be launching over the next 6 or 8 weeks, I think is a perfect example of that. One that we discussed earlier today, we have an NAD plus formula that will be coming out. Super unique. I can't wait for Jake and Todd and Ashley to be able to describe these formulas and the science behind each and every one of those nutrients. Talking about longevity, these products, the ingredients in that product is going to be a must-have for everybody. It really is one of those formulas. We have a beauty formulation coming. It's not just collagen, nothing else like that. It's like a hair, skin, and nails times 1,000. It is so powerful. Trademark ingredients really are going to really show the science behind it. I think everyone's going to really enjoy that. And then we have an uplift formula, which is the previous product is called Rejuvenate Plus. The next one is called Uplift Plus, and that Uplift is basically positive mood formula. The science again in those individual ingredients are absolutely just shocking, right? Whether somebody is having focus issues, slight depression issues, again, just kind of mood concerns. The benefit of the ingredients in that formula are so impactful, so powerful, and it's great tasting powder. I think everybody's gonna, really appreciate it.
That one, I think, I remember we were doing one of our excellent educations and Dr. Mayfield, we have tons of stuff on an educational platform that Dr. Mayfield's been recording. I adore them. If you guys would agree, I think he does a phenomenal job. But something he said in there is 30% of America is anxious and depressed, diagnosed anxious and depressed. And you guys really do an incredible job with these formulas. Back to the NAD plus, could you speak to the fact that a great example recently is you guys were ready to go with that, right? But you opened the bottle, and then what happened? You want to tell that story a little bit?
Yeah, sure. Well,
We
so,
love
and
you.
Yeah.
exactly right. So one of the really powerful ingredients in that formula is called sodium butyrate. Well, sodium butyrate in its purest form smells like blue cheese. It's just what it is. It's just what it smells like. And you can purchase on the market, you can get sodium butyrate that doesn't have an odor, but those ingredients and those formulas have been basically washed with a chemical compound to remove the odor, which obviously is going to take away from the importance and the bioavailability of that ingredient. So we would absolutely not do something like that. So the sodium butyrate, it's got a little bit of a smell, and to be able to get to a high enough dose that mimics what is highlighted in scientific papers, there's a decent amount in there. So what did we do? We made this formula. You crack open a bottle, and it's like, yep, smells like blue cheese. So we went back and tested and retested. So we ended up putting more desiccate packets, the little packets you see in a product that usually absorbs moisture, just to make sure the products will remain stable. But there's also odor reducing or odor eating desiccate packets as well, which is interesting. So there's 7. We had to put 7 in a bottle so that when you open the bottle, it doesn't smell like blue cheese.
7's a great number. I like that. You guys are gonna adore this product because, as we all know, there's too much to do and not enough hours in the day. And so it's definitely something that gets better over time as you take it and starts out in a phenomenal place. Do you guys want to weigh in, Ashley or Todd, on the product at all? Something that we talked about today?
I mean, I just think in general it speaks to the dedication to quality and innovation and science-based formulations. The fact of the matter also being that what for me stands out is the access that we have to leadership. So if there is an issue, if there is a concern, we're taking things directly to our leaders, Josh and Joel, and they're quick to move. You guys have been great in terms of taking practitioner feedback and making adjustments when necessary, looking at current science and making a quick pivot to improve the quality and efficacy of the formulations, which in other organizations, could never happen or could take years. And so I think this is a small example of how you're quick to see when there is a change that needs to be made and to rectify it as efficiently as possible with everyone's best interest at play, not just
Yeah.
looking at bottom line and what's going to move the needle for NutriDyn, but what's going to be most impactful for our practitioners and therefore your patient base.
Yeah,
So
no,
that
and
was.
we
Go ahead.
definitely, Joel and I, we sweat every detail, and if there's any concern, we want to know about it, right? And it's like we can't rest if we know that there's a concern out there. And product quality is never an issue because we have, our standard of what goes behind every product and its approval process. But whatever that looks like, we hear, and we've had recently where, boy, would love to have a 90-day serving or 90-day size or whatever it might be, and we listen to those, and then we think, okay, this might be the right time to be able to do that, or maybe it's a flavor something where again we don't take it lightly. We want to know, and we start the process. We have a long list of different things that we're always looking at because we want to listen, right? We listen to our practitioners. We want to make sure that your patients are getting the results that you're hoping for. And so we're there to support you, but we do restless nights if we know that there's something that needs to be rectified. We want to make sure it's handled immediately.
Yeah. And then specifically to that formula, I'm excited about it. I feel like it's going to be another one of those Swiss Army knives. Like I can't think of one individual like
Make it to
avatar
everyone.
type scenario where it wouldn't be a beneficial product for people to be using. So I'm really, really excited to get more details to our practitioners and even more excited to have the product available for them in a few weeks.
I
Yeah.
love that. How about you, Toddy? Anything?
Yeah, just definitely. Like obviously anti-aging is massive right now. And I like how Dr. Mayfield coins our in our NAD plus. It's a molecule of life, which I'll definitely be using. I mean, I'm definitely using that coin phrase quite a bit when it's released. But just anti-aging, the ATP levels, energy levels, or cellular health overall is huge right now, and it's very, very, very much important. But As we mentioned earlier, I think long haul COVID is still an ongoing problem. I know I'm seeing it in the state of Michigan quite a bit, and feedback from practitioners. That's always a question. Like, what do you have, or what do you suggest for long haul COVID? And that's definitely a big one. And I can't wait to be able to offer that for everybody. And it's gonna be a big hit, I think.
And Todd is a humble guy, but I mean, you're talking to a D1 athlete here who keeps running and gunning, and he's got his kids on the same vein. So I mean, can speak to the energy value of that. And I mean, you're like me, Todd. We want
Yeah,
to keep playing as long as we can, and it hurts the next day and a couple
yeah,
days extra. So anything you can do to get that edge and to feel that quality of life as we continue to progress towards our golden years,
yeah,
I think this is that they're listening to the industry, they're seeing the problem, and they're addressing it in a product like this. And as was brought up in our call, you can inject NAD. That's only one aspect of this product. And it's going to hit a threshold where it's no longer working for you and you're spending a ton. So don't buy the hype. Read the science, look at the research. And this product is one of those that's going to add value to every aspect of all your systems, your genetics, and it only gets better the longer you take it. So, I mean, we could talk all day about products, and we're happy to come display this stuff, talk to you guys, let you try it. Another really cool example, I hesitate to even bring it up, was we went ahead with like a fish oil gummy, and I liked them. I don't mind chewing on a little bit of chewy fish, but I mean that's not everybody's favorite taste. And these guys did one of the most ethical things I've ever seen. They pulled it and they went to reformulate. And like the formula on paper was one of the most gorgeous things I've ever seen, Josh. But you guys are like, people responded, and instead of coming up with some BS about, nope, that's how it is, blah, 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 deal with it. You guys pulled it, and then you did the right thing there. And so that's just one example I wanted to bring up, because that was one of those moments where I came from a situation where I had one of these moments, like a lightning bolt, where leadership was up there talking about how we're so inefficient and we have all these different it's 10,000 points where we can break, and so we need to get all these things, the ingredients that we use, down to a few things, and then you start seeing that they're using cheaper forms, you know what I mean? And they're selling us this BS like we don't know, and you don't know as a clinician exactly what's happening there, to beef up margin because they got too top heavy, right? And instead you're sitting here talking to the guy himself who's willing to take a personal hit on something because we tried it and it didn't work the way we wanted it to. So, I
yeah.
mean,
I
speak
agree.
to
I
that,
think
Josh.
that was maybe a $30 withdrawal, failure to launch. It's like we did all this work, we did everything leading into it. And what you're talking about these gummies, the issue with some of this gummy material, good gummy material, so the material that uses for so many of them, many on the market use different types of chemicals for mixtures and whatever. So when you're using natural ingredients, when you're actually mixing it, and when you go through the drying process of a gummy material, when you're dealing with an oil like fish oil, it became somewhat inconsistent, or one gummy would have a little bit more than the other one. And so you try one gummy and it have a stronger fish flavor than the other one. So some, it seemed like they taste fantastic. Other ones tasted a little bit too fishy. And so oh man, I tell you what, I bet we tested a dozen, 15 different lots. We went back and forth and back and forth. The flavor's too sweet. This is that. What too fishy? What can we do? And we went back and forth. And then we finally agreed to one. Okay, we think that's winner. We still had like four other. They call them shelf samples. And so next thing you know, we're going through, and we thought, oh, this is it. So we put all this effort into it. Then we go to launch and we're like, are you serious? It's like, I thought we had this figured out. It's like, we got it to approval, but it's fine. But again, I think it goes to show what other people in the industry are or aren't doing, right? And to be able to be, vested into the process and listening to practitioners, you go through it. These are natural ingredients. And so they're going to be, slightly different. So you're having to battle that. Other ones are using synthetics, using sucralose and other types of fillers or other types of gums and flow agents. They're just, it's not a healthy ingredient. It's not a healthy process. So you're using actual natural ingredients. So there's a process to it.
I love that. Something we wanted to
Josh,
do in this.
it's another example of
Go ahead, Toddy. Yeah.
I'll just say that's another example of the NutriDyn difference. Like, it's not just the initial investment costs that we had to say goodbye to, but like there are so many practitioners that are fired up about this formula that, I mean, that's the potential sales, right? So those two aspects for, you guys to step in and just say, hey, it's not up to our standards and we can do better. And like, it's just another example of the difference.
100%. And we refuse to do window dressing, right? There's a lot of products out there, right? You don't have to look very far, and you look at the ingredient label, and you got sometimes it's appropriate micrograms, but ingredients that you need 100 milligrams, and there's 5 milligrams. And they
Mhm.
squish everything together. It's just window dressing. It's really not doing anything. It's like you need therapeutical levels, and that's why we're practitioner exclusive, right? These are very, very strong and powerful tools for practitioners to be able to utilize them appropriately for their patients, right? And so it's like if there's not the science behind it, you're not going to see it from us. If the science is supporting it, you'll see it. And the levels, the amounts that you can see on the label are going to be that mirror what research is reflecting.
Love that.
Another benefit, which maybe is what you're getting to, it's the commitment to the science, but also the education, right? There's such a plethora of educational material that you guys take the time to put together and put out there, from clinical support to educational videos, to really help educate the practitioner and also the team. And then we come in and also are, supported in a way that we can come in and do training to really kind of help people get comfortable speaking about the formulas and knowing how to best utilize them. So I think that also is a really Jake's favorite value add, right? Is just another way that we bring a little bit more, right? We're there to service our practitioners as an extension of the practice is how I see it. And to be supported in that way by leadership is really special.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. We just have so much going for us. So we're starting to roll them out, some of the deep dive videos. And so as practitioners, you'll have access to these deep dive science, reviews of individual products, right? Those will be available. We're recording them. We probably have 20 plus. We have another 2 to 3 each and every month where it's 15 to 30 minutes of one of our science team members doing a deep dive into the ingredients and the science of each and every formula. So again, having the ability to dig into it, understand the reasoning and the thought process behind it, just at a click of a button when you log into your NutriDyn account to have access to it. I love it because, we forget and, a formula changes, or maybe it's a formula we haven't used in a little bit. Now to be able to select, to be able to kind of refresh your memory on that unique formula, I think that's a game changer too.
Where can they go, Josh, directly to find that information? We'll definitely put a link in the email for that. But where do
Yep.
we send them?
So you'll go to the education platform. You guys can send out that link to the NutriDyn education platform. The education platform currently has hundreds of hours of recorded content over the last whatever number of years, and from one of our amazing speakers. It could be thyroid or gut or stress or hormones, whatever it might be. So there's hundreds of hours of recorded content for free for our practitioners. And then we have product spotlights, and those product spotlights are where those videos reside. And as they're edited, that the videos and the slides and all the stuff, we continue to put them onto that education platform. So having access to it. And then soon we're working on upgrade to the dashboard, practitioner dashboard. So when you log into your NutriDyn dashboard, that's what we call it. You log in, you see all the information. You'll be able, at that location, you'll be able to have a direct link to this education platform. So it will be even easier to be able to follow.
Awesome. Well, one thing we had discussed doing is, since you guys have stuck with us and you've given us your time, we wanted to give you guys a special little discounts. We'll call it because these are Midwesterners here, we'll call it MW15. And if you guys want to use that code, it'll be MW15 for 15 off for giving us a little bit of your time. We want to hear back from you guys and your stories, and that is really what drives us. We pay forward the healing you guys are doing, the insights that you provide, and the questions that you have. You're our listening points to the people that we're trying to affect. And thank you for being healers out there and for the time that you guys put into this. We know you're geeks like us. So we're kind of at time here, but I wanted to wrap it up. This week, we're gonna have Ashley tell you a story that one of her clinicians told her, and each week we'll feature something that happened in our territories that you guys share with us so we can share it, and everybody can benefit from that. So, Ashley, what do you got?
Yeah, so just real quick, I had a practitioner working with a woman who'd been dealing with hip dysplasia for a long time, maybe a decade, which was creating a lot of hip pain and keeping her up at night. She wasn't able to get a full night's sleep. And so looking at different formulas, tried a lot of things. over the years with her, and what ended up really making a big difference in her symptoms and her quality of sleep was Muscles Advanced. She started taking it the first night. She slept all the way through the night, and her feedback is that she's not slept better since she can remember, and the pain is
fantastic.
greatly subsided. And that's 3 capsules right before bedtime. So it's just these unique blends of formulas that are so well thought out and strongly backed by science that really do make significant difference in people's lives. And so, to echo Jake, your feedback as practitioners, imperative for us to be able to continue to help the collective, right? So I hear these stories, and then I can go into another consult meeting with a different practitioner who's having maybe a similar issue, and now I'm able to spread that knowledge and spread that healing. So please do share your success stories. We're here to help in any way we can. But thank you all for tuning in and listening.
And thank you, Josh, for joining us. We appreciate you so much, man.
Happy to be
Thanks,
here.
Lauren.
And again, yeah, of course. And Ashley, Todd, Jake, you guys are absolutely amazing. You guys do an amazing job. Our practitioners that hopefully will be listening to this, thank you. Thank you for your business. Thank you for trusting us. Continue to trust us, right? Where other brands have become corporate and have other investors making decisions that might not be in the best interest of yourself as a practitioner and your patients, not us, right? This is a family. 50 plus years, we have no plan or desire to sell or change. We're going to continue doing what we're doing. So thank you for your support of us. And for those that might be new to NutriDyn, give us a try. So I think you'll be surprised.
Thanks, guys. Have a great week, and we hope to see you soon in your clinics. God bless.
Thank you.